It's safe to say that the Sonic franchise is doing relatively well when it comes to non-video game representation. With the first two live-action movies receiving acclaim from fans and fairly good reception amongst critics, Sonic Prime proving successful enough to receive 3 seasons on Netflix, a Paramount original Knuckles, a Wade Whipple show that you either loved or hated,
He's basically Jewish.
and a very successful ongoing run of comics by IDW, Sega seemed to be on a pretty solid streak when it comes to bringing the Blue Blur and friends out of the gaming world. And with the hype surrounding the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in cinemas, it feels the series has really managed to prove its quality and earn the trust of the fan base as well as casual audiences. I was lucky enough to get to see a premiere screening of the movie at my local cinema just a day before release, and my god, as a Sonic fangirl do I have a lot to say. So in this video, I'm going to cover my full thoughts on the movie. Now, with that said, this video will contain spoilers. However, I will first grace you with a spoiler-free surface level review. Don't worry, I will let you know when the spoilers are coming. So, was Sonic 3 a good movie? Yeah, I mean, of course it was, and I'm not just saying that as a Sonic fan. If you're looking for a fun movie with a lot of action, some fun comedy, and a good bit of heartfelt emotion, Sonic 3 delivers on all of those promises. The movie follows Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles trying to balance themselves as a team for the first time. They get sent on a mission to take on Shadow, but find that they have to reluctantly team up with Eggman. The plot soon changes gears, however, as Eggman meets his grandfather Gerald and teams up with him instead. The rest of the movie balances flashbacks of Shadow's story, Team Sonic vs the Robotniks, and some awesome action scenes super well to make a really satisfying movie. If you're a fan of the franchise, you'll likely appreciate all of the quips and references thrown in, alongside the stunning visuals. However, I think there's plenty here to enjoy if you're not a Sonic fan too. It's an all-around fun time. Now, that's about as surface level as I can go without spoiling any major twists and turns, so this is your warning. Click off the video now if you are opposed to spoilers. I'd highly recommend seeing this movie first and then just coming back. But I can't stop you if you choose to say. Okay. Now that the losers are gone, let's talk about the scene where Big the Cat gets arrested for possession of Class A narcotics. This scene was absolutely insane. I can't believe Sega would pull out all of these stops to get such an accurate representation of Big the Cat in a movie. I'm honestly shocked that this managed to be a PG. All joking aside, this movie was an SA2 fan's wet dream. It was pretty much the best possible outcome for an adaptation of the SA2 story, and I really commend the team here for not just trying to take the plot of SA2 and copy its homework point for point. It feels like they took some inspiration but adapted it in a way that fits the Sonic movieverse. It feels fairly grounded as a continuation to the previous movies, and it just feels like the natural path that the series was supposed to take. Sure, it resulted in some changes to Shadow's story, and I do feel there was some missed opportunities. For example, they decided to have Shadow and Maria grow up in a secret gun base on Earth, with Maria not actually even being terminally ill. She's just there because her granddad likes to take her everywhere. While it would have been cool to have them both up in space, wondering what it's like to live on Earth just like in SA2.
Shadow, what do you think it's like on Earth?
The professor said his life's work was dedicated to all of those who live down there. He once told that the reason for his existence was making people happy through the power of science.
Shadow.
Maria, I just don't know anything anymore. I often wonder why I was created, what my purpose is for being here. Maybe if I go down there, I will find the answers. Maybe.
I appreciate that it would have been hard to just randomly introduce space scientists into the Sonic movieverse without it seeming a little jarring. And overall, I really like the bond between Maria and Shadow. They nailed it, and it actually did tug at the heartstrings. I just feel there was some missed opportunities. Maria could have been being treated at the facility, and it wouldn't have really affected the plot, but instead she's just kind of there. And, you know, I'm cool with it. I think that honestly, it didn't really affect the plot all too much, and I enjoyed it equally. But now the question that I hear you all asking is, does Maria get shot?
Good guess, but actually no. In fact, it's all thanks to this.
Yes, made with real bear grease. It's my famous Pirate Captain beard gel.
Maria's death is actually caused through a missed gunshot causing an explosion. I think that was the best way to adapt it for the movie. After all, it's a PG. They weren't just gonna cap a child, no matter how badly the sadistic little Sonic gremlins wanted it to happen. This was a great compromise, and it still managed to make me feel genuinely sad when she dies. You actually feel for Shadow and understand why he does what he does. It makes total sense. So yes, I was very happy that the child died. I'm going to hell. As for some more details on the plot, Eggman, Gerald, and Shadow team up and steal an access key from the London Gun HQ, launching the arc that Gun built with Gerald's plans while he was in prison. It's then up to Sonic and Co. to take down the bad guys, and it's here that we learn that Shadow and Gerald actually plan to destroy the Earth, not conquer it, and thus the final fight breaks out as the heroes and villains kind of flip between sides in a really, really awesome finale. I do want to take a moment to discuss each character's representation in the film, as I feel like there was a lot of evolution that went on here. Movie Sonic is back, and he's just as quippy as ever. I've said this about the film itself earlier too, but it just feels like a fitting progression for Sonic's character. He's now a little older, a little bit more mature, but he's still just a big kid. This time learning the fundamentals of working as a team as he struggles to not dash ahead of his friends, causing a really cool conflict between Sonic and Knuckles in the third act, where Sonic goes against Knuckles' wishes in order to take the Master Emerald and get revenge on Shadow for hurting Tom. I've already touched on Shadow earlier in this review, so all I really have to mention is that I think they just handled his character incredibly well in this movie, especially his character motive. Shadow's driven by vengeance, and ultimately, the same thing happens to Sonic as he sets out to fight Shadow, which brings them both together in this phenomenal scene on the moon that my friend actually pointed out to me reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk, where they both just realize that there's no way to win when it comes to vengeance. I thought that they handled these two brilliantly. Ben Schwartz does a great job returning as Sonic's VA, and Keanu Reeves is almost the perfect voice for Shadow, and definitely one of the stars that I think fans like me wanted to see tackle the role. Eggman and Gerald are honestly a joy to watch in this movie. Jim Carrey returning to play both of them. What can I say? This man has crazy chemistry with himself, and it's honestly not even noticeable that they weren't physically interacting with each other on set. Unless they cloned him like Shadow the Hedgehog in the hit game Sonic Heroes, featuring the Shadow android. Of course, Gerald is a lot different to his Sonic Adventure 2/Sonic Gameverse counterpart, or whatever you want to call it. He takes on this fun comedic grandpa persona, but it's later revealed that he was only doing it to get Eggman's attention, so that he would help with his plan to destroy the Earth alongside himself. Another thing that adds to this more serious evil Gerald we see is him telling Eggman that he's no Maria and that he effectively never gave a shit about him. It really hurts to see him say that, and you do feel for Eggman as he's spent this whole film finding his family, only for Grandpappy to post on his Snapchat story, "Sad right now, gonna KMS. Hate you, grandson. Bye, bitch." Oh, and Agent Stone is back, and even more badass and bisexual than ever. His whole thing is pretty sad too, as you see Eggman shove him to the side and make way for Gerald, but towards the end we get a really cute scene where Eggman accepts whatever in the gay mother of Christ is going on between them and then blows himself up. Tails and Knuckles feel much better written here too. Tails, whilst not getting as much screen time, has actual dialogue this time and isn't just part of the fucking Sonic symphony. He still feels like the nerdy gadget guy, but they got rid of the annoying trope from Sonic 2 where he feels the need to wank off Sonic after everything he does. Knuckles feels a lot like he did in the show, which is neat to see, considering he probably got a combined total of 15 minutes of screen time in his whole 6-episode show. They've really managed to hit that sweet spot for me of funny meathead, but also cool and powerful. That scene where him and Sonic stand off, literal chills down my spine, I swear to God. I'm just glad that he's not being boiled down to a pure comic relief character and that he actually has some integrity to him. My only worry is that this will seep out of the movies and into the games, if people's images of Knuckles become the funny one that punches shit, but that's a video for another day. Overall, I really like Team Sonic in this movie. I think they're really at their peak, and it's clear to see that the writers have finally found that perfect balance for them. It honestly seems like they had a blast writing this, and who can blame them? Tom and Maddie are also at their best in this movie, especially compared to in Sonic Movie 2, which had them kind of pointlessly take up screen time with the whole wedding arc. They've actually both become characters I find myself caring about now more than I ever did. For example, when Shadow almost kills Tom, I was actually sad about the thought of him dying, which I know a lot of people say that these movies would be better without the humans and that we should just ditch them, but I think they're an important part of the series now, and I really don't mind seeing them around, especially if they're just playing a supporting role to the gang. Of course, elevated by great performances from both James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, they're harmless characters that actually I feel add quite a bit to the movie. Okay, so before I touch on the post-credits scenes, I want to point out some references that I spotted because I feel like that might be interesting to a lot of people. I've probably missed things. Some things in here might even be slightly wrong. I've only been to see this movie a few times, and I will reanalyze it, I guess, when it's out on streaming. But some notable things in the movie are the acoustic version of Live and Learn being played on a guitar at the start of the song, some kind of robot on the desk at the start of the movie. It's possibly Gamma, Omega, or even Emerald. I didn't get a good enough look to be able to tell. When Team Sonic jump out of the plane, Sonic says his famous line from the opening of Sonic Adventure 2.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
When Sonic is handcuffed to the railing after his first fight with Shadow, he actually references Back to the Future with the 1.21 gigawatts thing.
A nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. 1.21 gigawatts!
That was the Chow Garden, kind of, sort of, in Japan. It was like a cool cafe venue in the movie. You probably saw it in the trailer. It was pretty cool. As well as a little girl who calls Tails Detective Pikachu.
Are you Detective Pikachu?
He does look like a Pokemon!
There's a kaiju movie that Maria and Shadow are watching that features the Bio Lizard, which Shadow then actually compares himself to, which is pretty cool because technically in the game, the Bio Lizard is a failed version of Shadow, which is pretty cool. There's a Sonic fandub reference. This is the one that got me. Sonic refers to Shadow as Hot Topic, which is a reference to the Sonic Adventure 2 fandub.
Really?
No. You got a gross bat face.
What the fuck, you hot topic, hot sauce motherfucker? What were you gonna say?
It would seem to you bitches have come to a standstill in Tarzan's forest. You have 13 seconds before the island fucking explodes, you hot topic wannabe, and you blue gumball son of a bitch.
Okay, this one is definitely stretching it, but I think Tails thundershoots Sonic through the gun force field, and Knuckles then throws Tails down from the arc later in the film. I just got Sonic Heroes vibes from this because of Knuckles and Tails' abilities in those games. It's probably, again, me overthinking it, but it was just kind of cool to see, and I was really looking for something. Of course, there's the SA2 Super transformation, and Shadow and Sonic doing the famous pose from SA2, as well as the gun robots, too. They're in this movie, which is pretty cool. Shadow takes off his inhibitor rings when pushing the space station away from Earth. And I guess that brings me on to the two post-credits scenes, so let's start with the most boring one first, which is the second one, which is still really, really cool. If you wait till the very end of the movie, after all the credits have rolled, you see one of the inhibitor rings sort of fallen down on the ground. It's buried in the soil. Then you see Shadow's boots as he comes and picks it up, confirming that he did not die in the blast and will be in the next movie, which is phenomenal. And yeah, that's about it for the second post-credit scene, but the first one is really cool because it does confirm that we're getting Metal Sonic and Amy for the next Sonic movie, which is absolutely incredible. This is giving me like an immediate vibe that we're going to be getting something with a bit of a Heroes theme, maybe with Neo Metal Sonic as the villain, possibly something with Shadow Androids. Yeah, I made a joke about that earlier in the video. Now I feel really cool because I'm referencing it again. But yeah, I think Sonic 4 is gonna be incredible. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? I honestly think this is 100% the best one in the franchise. It's a perfect homage to Sonic Adventure 2 while still maintaining its own unique originality. Jim Carrey was funny as fuck. The acting from the other characters in this movie, especially from Keanu and Ben Schwartz, was fantastic. And overall, I'm very hopeful for this series' future. So, what did you think of Sonic Movie 3? Have you seen it yet? Let me know. Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to be proved wrong. I want you to be like, oh my god, this was the worst movie ever. And I will say no, because my opinion is actually fact. So, yeah, suck on your opinions. Bye.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?